Colorado is now home to 5 Michelin-star restaurants and the 8th Michelin Guide market in North America. Last week, 3 Denver restaurants, a Boulder restaurant, and an Aspen restaurant all were given 1 Michelin star. But that honor comes with a cost. State and local entities contributed some money needed to attract Michelin here in the first place, both to Denver and other places around that state. So the big question being now is, how could that investment pay off? Joining us today to discuss the Michelin Awards and the economic impact of these honors, we have Chris Rourke, managing editor of the Denver Business Journal. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. This is a big deal. Michelin is a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
How big, like what, for a chef, for a restaurant to have that award? I mean, that's kind of peak career for them.
Well, put it to you this way. I mean, the Michelin star, the Michelin Guide, it's only in 6 markets in the United States, 8 in North America. We are the 6th and the 8th in those categories. Okay. It's a huge honor for restaurants. Already I've heard that the restaurants are seeing huge bookings in reservations. You know, some are booked out through November. So it's a huge honor, but there's an investment piece that goes along with it. The Colorado Tourism Association, Visit Denver, some small cities contributed to attracting Michelin here so they can have their secret, you know, investigators go out and rate restaurants. And they're really banking on an increase in tourism here.
What do you think, like you mentioned, for instance, that the restaurants are seeing a big uptick in business. How big are we talking?
Well, like I said, 2 restaurants I know of are booked through November. There's another category that's not a star rating. It's called Bib Gourmand. And 9 restaurants received that honor. It's for more modestly priced restaurants. The Ginger Pig told the Colorado Restaurant Association that their business was kind of slow. And when that honor was bestowed upon them, boom. All of a sudden, uptick in traffic. So there is that aspect that goes to the restaurant itself.
I met with the Ginger Pig last week when we were first covering this, and they started as a food truck.
Right.
And then now have escalated up to a brick and mortar. And then to get an award like this, the amount of people it can draw to a business, but also the idea of the affordability. This is something that anyone could probably go out to dinner at a restaurant like that, as opposed to these Michelin star. I mean, that's a special occasion kind of dinner for a lot of folks.
Yes, it is. In fact, that's how they rate them. A 1-star restaurant, and we got all 5 of our restaurants got 1 stars. That's the restaurant that is worth a stop. 2 stars mean, oh, you might want to divert your trip for the evening and go stop at this restaurant and make it a special evening. And then 3 stars is destination location, meaning you make a special trip there. And that's what these tourism associations are banking on. Tourism in the state of Colorado, $27.7 billion is spent. Only 1.1 billion, is from international travelers. And the Michelin Guide is this internationally known, trustworthy guide for fine dining that people literally go and travel just to go to a Michelin restaurant. So these tourism associations are really banking on bumping that 1.1 billion up and really pulling in that kind of impact.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if people are already starting to make travel plans to come to Denver from out of town, right? To try different restaurants that maybe wouldn't have been on their map before.
Right. In fact, there is a special webpage devoted to the Denver Michelin restaurants. It's already gotten 7,000 hits, I think. And they have, you know, digital placement ads and things of that nature. So it's already starting to surge.
How will these communities consider this an investment worth having made? I mean, is it a 1 year, let's see how we do? Is that 5 years, or hard to say at this point?
Well, the CTA, Colorado Tourism Association, Visit Denver, and some of these smaller cities invested over 3 years, a 3-year period, and it totals about $800,000. That's quite an investment. So these communities are hoping to pull that back in the money spent. Look, it's not just going to the restaurant and spending the money. It's you walk around, or maybe you visit an area, you're staying in a hotel, and they're really hoping to see, you know, that money returned in spades.
And to be clear, yes, there was an investment to bring Michelin here that had nothing to do with which restaurants were picked.
Correct.
It's not a restaurant pays money and somebody comes checks them out.
No, Michelin is
to be very clear how this works.
Yes, Michelin is very clear. Their inspectors come in, and you might not notice them, and they come in, and they don't just do it once, and they rate them on high quality products, master culinary skills, the taste, the savoir-faire, and I almost think most importantly, the consistency. This isn't a one and done situation, and they always pay for their bills, so you might not notice. Have you seen that Netflix show, Emily in Paris? Okay, don't judge. That's one of my favorites. But they make a big deal about this this chef trying to get a Michelin star, and of course this is in France, and you know, trying to guess who the inspector is and being on your best behavior. But what they do is they look for that consistency. Every time you come into that restaurant, are you going to get that same kind of quality?
And it's totally anonymous.
Totally anonymous.
But that's really hard to achieve, right, for these restaurants to have a consistent, every single day that you come in as a customer. That's a really big deal, and I think a testament to, you know, how good some of the restaurants are here in Denver as well.
Yeah, it's great to see that in Denver and throughout Colorado.
I'm ready to get eating.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, can we cut out now?
Let's go. Forget the rest
We're
of the
done.
show.
We're going.
Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
We really appreciate you.